internal laws in a nutshell, right? The idea is that your body, your mind and your body, it's like a radio, right? So depending on what your expectation is to experience, it configures itself differently, like tuning a radio, right? So the sort of like the ingenious thing about internal arts is that they've figured out that using different perceptual models to structure your experience through, it allows you to configure your body in different ways without much cognitive effort in doing that, right? Without micromanaging all the different bits and pieces, right? So different perceptual models lead to different qualities in the body. And different internal arts have the different ways of doing things. And within the different ways of doing things, there are progressively improving or sort of enhancing models as you go by, right? So what I'll do is I'll show you a couple of different things so you can experience it, and then we'll start to look at how we can approach it like we did the other day, right? Cool. So basically, say that, so if you put force in it, right? Say that you're a situation, put force in it, right? So typically people do this, right? Like I will lean on you and I will just take most of my weight involved and do this, right? So now what's happening is that you're using this part of your body, you're maintaining it down in a certain way, and now I'm just squeezing my body like this, right? Now, the most basic expectation that you would have is that I would be doing something like this, right? Now, if I was to do something different, let's say that my body is connected right through, right? And if when my foot changed, if the rest of my body changed, right? If I do this, I change my foot, nothing happens, right? But if I connect my body, you must feel the same way. If I change my foot, that affects it, right? So that's a very cool way of doing it, right? So basically the way I'm getting that effect is that I'm engaging you here, right? But instead of working isolated, if you can feel my back there, you can feel it from my back, right?
Yeah.
So here I'm isolated, right? Like, every part of my body is independent doing, right? But now if I connect it through like this, right? Now once I'm connected through like that, your force is basically dissipated through my body. But the important part is when I manipulate my foot, it changes everything, right? So no matter how you do it in the internal arts, that's what you're trying to do, right? And the idea is that my whole body is stronger than any one part of it, right?
Yeah.
So if you feel my back, right? So here, say we engage, right?
Yep.
Here, I try to change, like here, I'm changing up here, he knows, right? Now, if I connect my body like this, right? And if I change my foot, right?
I can feel that drop.
Yeah.
How about it? Right.
It's like everything must be connected, right?
Yeah.
It's just one way of doing it. There's so many different ways to do that. So for example, like if you were talking about like say Southern Shaolin, right? They would basically hold their spine and then connect their bodies like that.
That one is a bit more able.
Yeah, so that's the Southern Shaolin way of doing it, right? So the Taiji way of doing it is like this. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
That's
Sorry.
Oh,
Shit.
now, yeah. Don't get that.
Yeah. So there are different ways of organizing the body, but the idea is that when your first comes, say like, okay, say you want to hit me here, right? Say you want to hit me, right? I stop here, this is my arm, right? So rather than hitting you here, I'm letting that force come into my body and dissipate through the whole body. And now I can modulate it in very subtle ways, right? But if I just use my arm, I can do this like my shoulder. That's as much as I can do, right? So this is the range of movement I have, my arm and my shoulder, right? But if I let that connect to my whole body, and now I have so much more variation to work with. Right? So this is the rough idea within the last. If you put me in a drawing book, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is not from love, right?
Yeah.
And your power is coming from the feet, right?
Yeah.
But now, if I was to connect my body like this, and I'm changing everywhere, it's very different, right?
Yes.
Because I'm no longer using this, I'm using the support, right?
Yeah.
Support of the leg, right? Yeah. My legs are changing. That change goes up to the body, right?
How do you know that? Are you rolling the foot to raise the hip or?
It's not as simplistic. There's a lot of different things going on. But the key point is that you're using a certain perceptual model to coordinate all that without micromanaging. Right? So, for example, one of the most fundamental basic things that you can do is whatever force that comes on you, like say that you're pushing, right? So this force, rather than bracing against it, I let it through my body, stretch my body onto the ground. Right? So what you're doing is you're lifting my legs up. So instead of trying to topple me, now you're basically trying to rip me apart, right? Right? And once within this, I have all the freedom I want, right? So that's one of the most basic ways of doing it, right? So another way they're sort of complementary, right? So another basic way of doing it is that your force, right? When you're coming into the body, I can feel it in my hip and pushing me in this line, right? So instead of feeling your force in this particular place, right? I change my expectation to feel your force in the entire space around me, right? So once I do that, it basically distributes the force across all my body, right? And then I can just basically take the force, right? So those are like one of the two basic perceptual models, right? So you can use many of those things to effectively integrate your body into a unified whole that can function as a whole. Doesn't mean that it's moving like one block. It's not like I'm throwing myself at you like a block, but it's all connected. When one part changes, the other parts adjust. Right? So that's kind of like the core of the internal mode of operation. Right? And there's many different ways to work with different organizations and different levels of doing it. Right?
Feel that?
Yeah.
So when you put force on that, so that's the other thing, right? So normally you will be at hip, right? So I'm basing on your leg. So you see how it's disconnected? Like this is being taught, like my body's not 1 minute, right? So when you put here, it's like you have a water. I'm just connecting the body. Once the body is connected, everything is in one piece. So what now here, when I put it, that's everything else standing. So when I'm here, it is this, right? So you can that's it from the top, right? So now if I connect you all the way to the ground, right? Now there's one conduit happening to the ground, right? And if I change the foot here, it takes you off your feet because your feet are not able to change right now. Yeah, that's it.
Are you using your body weight for
So I'm not really thinking about pulling.
No, but I mean, it's changing perception of that side.
So my perception, what I'm changing is that when I'm pushing like this, right? Instead of raising him, I'm letting him force circulate through my body and set it in a certain direction. So that's how it does, right? It's just like if you force there, right? But here, right? Rather than just operating like this, I let this force in and let this force stretch me in a certain way. Yeah. So basically, that's the idea, right? So at the very basic level, what you want to do is that whatever, like for standing practice, right? I mean, obviously we start, all this stuff works on the ground, but the connections are much easier to make while you're standing because the gravity is always your friend, right? The gravity helps you connect stuff up. And once you're familiar with the connections, you can use it in the ground, no worries, right? So the first basic thing you want to work on is to be able to let any force elastically connect to your feet. So what happens is that functionally what the other person is doing is their force transitions from something that is trying to topple you to something that is trying to stretch you against the ground.
And that stretch is where that release is, that release, heaviness, letting everything drop, mentally drop and physically drop.
Yeah, so it elasticates the body. This is where the enriching principles come in, right? And the elastication can happen with different muscle tendon channels in your body, right? So ideally, there's a range of muscle tendon channels you want to use, but basically, if you get the deep front line and the superficial back line, that is functionally decent, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give you a feel, right? So here, you push me, right? Now feel my body, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I elasticate the different line, what I'm doing is I'm resting my structure into the elasticated different line. Right?
Yeah.
Harder? It's just stretching my different line. Right?
Yeah.
So I can't apply power to you at this point, but I can sustain what you're giving me. Right?
Yeah.
Now, if I elasticate the superficial back line, I can get some power action.
Yeah.
Right? So the different line and superficial back line, those two are the bare minimum you need to elasticate.
So I think that's the bit where sometimes I get stuck, where someone will put pressure on me.
Yeah.
I can hold it,
Yeah.
but then I'm stuck in this position
That's
of just
it.
holding it.
So you have to go from holding to elasticating.
Okay, and
That's-
that's from the holding to going to using the back, is it?
No, so basically,
Tightening the pressure in the back, is that what you're trying
I mean,
to say?
it happens, but what you want to do is like, if you look up the deep front line, right, which is basically a connected set of tissues in the body with muscles and
Yeah.
sinews, right? So what you're doing is you're resting your weight onto it such that it stretches. So you're resting onto the elasticity of it. You're not contracting it, but you're resting onto the elasticity of it.
Yep.
Right? So that's like that kind of is one of the bare minimum things that you need to connect your body, right?
Yeah.
In order to be able to sustain stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then if you want to let force come out of it, that means you have to let force going in stretch the different line, then something else has to stretch to pull the power out, right? So that's the superficial backline, right? So superficial backline is what powerlifters learn to use very early on, but they use it by contracting. But you want to rest into it elastically. They work together.
Yeah.
So
So I was wondering if you could get these guys to feel
Yeah.
what I felt
Yeah.
with that different types of intention with the Jin, astral.
right. So okay. So these are the forces, right? Now if I mean, yeah, right? I see how the force is in my body, right? Now if I let that force be experienced through the sensation of what say Marcus or life force, right? So that is kind of feeling you have, right? So within this force I can operate, right? But it will have a more quicker feeling, right? But now if I do the same thing with what Marcus astral, for example, see it's much more lighter, not as thick as the other one, but see, it can have a higher effect because it's lighter. You've got less to work with, right? Yeah. Now, if you just basically use it at the Markov mental body level, right? Yeah. At this level, the second element of going to it, right? But see how it gives you even less to work with? Yeah. It's more soft. Yeah. And then when if I'm ready to go into emptiness, it just changes so quickly. Yeah. But the second something comes on, sorry. Yeah, it's very hard to control, so it's basically like that. Yeah. This is my cynical body, right? Yeah. It's my wrestling friend, right? It's now fine again. Your mind perception of your force going into the feeling of what Mark's life was. Everybody feels that.
Yeah. I can feel that energy coming out.
Yeah. So the body circulates in different ways, right? If you go to astral, here, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit lighter. It's much lighter than the other one.
Yeah.
And if I go to mental, even more lighter, right?
Yeah.
And if you go into emptiness, the second you come into things so quickly, I feel that it's like, really mind will confused.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, those are like sort of framework and markers, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be, right? Like, so for example, if I were to use like Taiji muscle, right? In the fourth time, what I'm going to do, if I'm going to let you rest me into what we call simply keep in a particular way, right? Yeah. Like that. That comes on this way, right? But if I open more, turn over, right? So it becomes like, so what's happening is that, right? So here, I'm just using this, right?
Yeah.
I'm not letting come here, I'm holding it back, right? Here, and now I open these channels. This channel and this channel. We have a lot more.
Yeah.
So like that, there's a lot of other muscles that you can open within the same perception.
I think, yeah, I think like,
So your body becomes more available to movement.
yeah.
So that's kind of the different models, right? Yeah, so the important part is that we need to have the yin aspect of it, which is a central equilibrium that keeps everything together. That's the yin part. And then all the other channels are open, so we can actually move through it. So,
This is kind of the part of how it's going to.
like it's not, like there is certainly power, right? When you're working with like resistance, inanimate objects, there is certainly power, right? But when you're working with human beings, it is mostly because of the neurology, right? So here, right? You can remember it's a very complex, right? So when I'm doing this, right? Your body has a model of how you behave, so you can apply it to me, right? So you know the necessary force in different parts of your body to deal with it, right? But now if I move it in a way that you're unfamiliar with, like that, right? Your body seems to know how to do it, right? So this is why the classics say, only I know my opponent doesn't know me. So when it comes to human beings with nervous systems, you can get so precise and well coordinated and complex to the point where the other person don't know what you're doing to resist it. So you use very little power. But doesn't mean that you don't get a lot of power. So this is the problem with all the old guys, right? These, especially these days. Traditionally, from a very young age, there was excruciating physical training to build a physical body before you start working on neurological stuff. So these days, people work on the neurological stuff, they don't have the physical capacity. So they get very good at the subtle stuff, but they don't have any power to back it up. So when they find someone like a wrestler that completely overwhelms them, that's what doesn't work anymore. Because they're tight, like they're using their whole body to sustain that force, that they can't modulate it anymore. So you actually need both sides. You need the strength development with the precise control and all the neurological stuff.
So where do these guys start now? With starting with what you showed me of learning that release.
Yep. So I think the first thing I'll start with, the most important thing is for you to free yourself from the confines of what you think your body is, right? Because basically what happens is that through over-specialization in movement, we build a model of our bodies, right? So we get stuck into those things. So we only have very few levers that we can pull, so to speak, right? So the genius of what Mark does in like what he calls in expanding the consciousness, right? Is that what you're doing is that you're freeing yourself from that model that you have through over-specialization in learning, and you're letting yourself rediscover what all the levers that you have you can pull.
It's kind of like emptying the cup.
Yeah, that's right. So the clever way of doing it is to experience, like say you touch me, right? So I feel that like you're pushing my leg, right? And I feel that here and everything, right? So I want to take that away and I want to feel that in the space around me. So that to give me the perception my body necessarily has to change. It has the fascia involved, it has the sinews involved, it has the muscles partially activated. It does a lot of complex things, it aligns with the bone and all these things. But the way I'm doing it is that I'm simply experiencing what it's doing in the space around us. That's all I'm doing, right? So I'm not feeling like I'm having it stuck in my body. There's no one part in my body that you're affecting, right? So it's distributed. So this is the first step to, this is the best plan for the buck to start with, right?
I feel that immediately.
It's So by release, what we mean is that we let go of everything that we know about ourselves in order to maximize the perception that we are working with. That's basically what release is in this context, right? So we can start with that, right? So the best way to work with it is that if you both give each other a bit of forward force, like in wrestling touch, not too much, but, and then one person will go into their body and figure out where you feel the forces are hitting, and take the perception of that force and experience it in the space around you, rather than in your body, right? So what I'll do is I will just bend it out. So you see how this is taking some of that force? If you release that, it goes out. That one. Yeah, you see how it's different now? Yeah.
It to be isolated in the face.
Doesn't need to be, but like in the beginning it helps sometimes. So whatever your body does, you know. So what you want to do is just basically See how you're on, like see how you're on your toes, right? Now when you feel this space around you, see how your body changes, and see how now it starts going to the center of your foot, like top of the arch. Okay, see how you're cleaning to the top of the arch? And now, instead of moving him, if you have the intention of moving him, but experience the effects in the space around you, see what happens. That's it. Slowly. Release everything to maximize that perception. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, there we go. And burn out. So first, just moving conventionally so you feel different, right? Yeah. Okay, now, whatever you're feeling from him, feel it in the space around you and not in your body in such a way that you feel like he's just pressing onto the top of your arch. Yeah. Now, that's it. That's it. That's it. There we go. So that would be the first place to start. Yes, that's it. The key point is the perception, like your body will change depending on the force he's putting, which direction it's coming from. Also, so don't get stuck in the physical mechanism. Yeah. Because there's so many different ways the body will express it. The important thing is to fully surrender to that perception so the perception is maximized. Yeah. So you're experiencing what I'm experiencing you in space around me. I'm not really coming to the body. Okay, if I let come to the body, I'll be here, right? But if you come, I'll just in space around me. Yes. Like I'm not letting it come into the body. Yeah.
Sorry, the thing to me.
Yeah, it doesn't like normally because if you let it into the conventional way, if the other person is stronger, you want to have enough time to change because he will basically do what he wants it to because he's so much stronger, right? Yeah, that's it. So you want to feel you want to feel it in solo, right? So my body's weight feels on my feet in a certain way, right? So the first thing we do is that building ball exercise, right? So the first thing we do is that instead of feeling my body on my feet, I'm feeling everything in the space around me. So you just get, like if you can touch my body, right? You can see how the stretching happens. So like here, right? Just in general. This. So yeah, that's fine. So here, right? So see how my weight is being borne by my feet, by my legs. Now if I experience that by being borne by all the empty space around me, see how my body stretches in a certain way? Yeah, it becomes very slow. So now, with a subtlest force, it changes. So that would be the first thing to start with and train. And then to do it under pressure, increasing pressure. Right?
Yeah. You want to feel that for a moment?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get you to test off your use
Yeah. Yeah. So here, right? This is my body, right? So instead of my body, I'm just resting on everything. You just get on. You can relax and pump out a little bit. All this is started a little bit. So, yeah. So you want to do something?
Yeah.
Let's see how this is. Okay, let's see this. So it is born by here. So keep the shape, keep the force, but don't feel it in any particular place in the body. But instead feel it in the surrounding place. Okay. So keep doing it until you feel that I'm pressing on the top of the arch. Good. That's it.
I feel like I'm lifting up on this foot.
Yeah, so you need to get back to it, but that's okay. You let's get one foot right and then put it back together. So it's best to try to experience it in a space in a way that you feel like I'm pressing up to both feet at the same time, so you don't touch up. Yeah, that's it. You know how I'm going to do what you say, but don't feel it in any particular place in the body. You will feel everything in no particular place in the body. And then the body changes, you feel it there, and hence the release. Yeah, so this is not bad. It's not bad. But you still have a tendency to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I still feel like I hit that point when I want to push.
Yeah, so
That's the way you're saying you just do more of what you're doing.
yeah, that's it. So you really need to let this go because this is forward. This is generating a lot of force. The problem with that, right, is that the second I'm here, right, when you generate force from here, that becomes a problem. I can mess with you from there, right? Because I can pivot around that, right? That is for sure, right? So, like if you do it to me, right, if I'm stuck here, you can mess with it, right? But if I distribute it, right, it's all over, right? So if you really need to let that connection here. So in the sense that you don't want to go back to it. So this, see how that feels there? Yeah. So figure out how to let that go and experience it in the space around it. More. That's the right part to do. That's it. Keep going. Keep going. That's good. That's it. So that's it. Let's see how we connect it to it. Yeah. Good. Now, what do you do? Go into the mat here. See how it's going. Yeah, so release cycle. So let go of everything that you can perceive as being isolated and activated. All you want to feel is like a mild elastication for the whole body. That is the right part. But you came off the foot. Yeah.
I was like, it sort of felt like the arm was too far.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter, like if I have to be here, right? So foot here. Now here, if I'm using here, I can't generate power, right? But I'll slowly connect my body, let's say, yeah. It doesn't matter now. Because, oh, sorry, because I'm not using this anymore, right? Yeah. Like if you touch my back, right, you'll see, touch my back. So you see when you put force, right, I fall back like that. You see, I can't generate enough power from my back, right? But when my body cannot go like that, like if I let it go through, it like to come from here, right? So because your whole body is used, you're no longer limited by the range that you had before, right?
So to relax the shoulder, is that where the joints separate from allow the
Yeah,
space?
so basically what you need to do here is you need to be here.
There.
This is the connection you want.
Because I thought it was here.
Nah, that's not it at all. This is what you want.
Yeah.
So because now you keep it here, right? So when the force comes here, see how it's going straight to here?
Yes.
So when I push here, like let it rest into the deep front line. Let it just strike the deep front line. Yeah. So try to keep organized through here. Don't let your body lean to that. So it's, yeah, that's it. That's one, right? So now if you keep staying there and projecting forward, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, so now I literally feel that that was the point where everything was getting built
Yeah.
up and stuck.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it's too rounding. So if
That's
we
it.
go back to that.
Yeah. So this touch. Yeah. So let this touch release into the front line first. So you feel it start filling up here, then here. Like this part feels expanded. It's like this. Yeah, yeah. That's what it's like. And now get it to the notch. Good. Yeah. That's one. So if you do against him, I'll correct you so you can get the feel for it. So give him a lot of force, but don't change the direction so it's while he's like this. Okay, so see how it's going through your body, right? So what I'm going to do around is I'm going to change your body so you can feel the right stuff, right? Yeah.
It didn't feel like I literally did anything.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly how it should feel.
So put me in that spot.
Yeah. So put force on him.
Yeah.
Like you see how it's in your body, right? Now if I put you into that spot. There we go. Yep.
Hey, you feel that? That's.
So if someone pushed on him, I'll do it too. So there, right? So push them first. You sustain it first. You feel it in your body, right? Now where you want to do is here. Absolutely. Yeah. There we go. Now you can do whatever you want.
So is it important to, when you start, go from feet to relaxed perineum all the way up to sort of...
So you want to do it even before you touch. You want to be in that configuration when you touch someone.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is, remember, it is a process, right? So it is not a place you get to, it is a process, right? So whatever the process you run to get there is what you continuously keep running.
Okay. So if I change my mindset...
Yeah, so you start in there, and then come and touch me. Yeah, much better. This is still coming on, but much better. Do you see how it's different? Now, in this configuration, right, you can just put your knee forward and as well. Like if you do this like in the front knee as well. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So,
Very slight. Yeah, it's only a little bit. It's like a little bit of...
Okay, you
so the
turn to
trick,
push.
right? Like a shortcut you can use in the beginning, not that you want to continue doing this, right? But a shortcut experience would be the C7 here, connected to C of G here, like as if they are connected internally. They're not actually physically, it's not a physical straight line connection, but neurologically to experience that connection, your body has to organize in a certain way. And it has to activate the deep front line. So try that. Now all you need to do is accelerate what you do, right? And then feel this, connected to this. And then let the whole body change to facilitate that feeling. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it is. And while you're doing that, if you can release inside the jaw, where the jaw and the tongue, back of the tongue connects, if you can release this region. So that's interesting, right? Because that region is neurologically connected to hips, right? Because I don't know why, but one thing I do know is that when you're an embryo, the tissue that differentiates to your jaw and the hips are the same tissue, right? So maybe neurologically that creates an association, I don't know. But so if you release the area where your tongue connects to the back of the jaw and the inside, at the same time, you will get much more power, right? So try it. So whatever your force is putting, all that it's doing is sustaining or reinforcing the connection in these 2 points, and it's releasing your jaw. Remember, this force is releasing the jaw. That's one. I'm going to go with yeah. Everything you need.
So from that point, how does one project someone forward with that explosive force?
So what happens, okay, you can feel it. Make these lines, right, and I release it, right? Now if I release it enough, it will change and go through his gas, right? So if I release enough, it will naturally go in the way he wants to go, right?
So is it just releasing quicker?
Releasing quicker and deeper, right? Now, on the other hand, if I want to send him in do something particular to him, right? So I will have to stop the release here, set my mind, say, on that mirror there, right? And once my mind is set there, I just let the release on. So my body changes to where my attention is. So all you're doing is changing your attention, that's it.
Is there something you could relate that to in just like an everyday activity that it's where that similar thing is occurring?
Like, I mean, generally speaking, right, it's like, it's generally like you can tell where people's attention is based on their body language.
Yeah.
Like because your body is naturally configure themselves in preparation for dealing with something from that direction.
Which is how an experienced person can also read somebody.
That's exactly right. You know, there's a really interesting experiment that was done with, like, you know, baseball. But when you like start redistributing load in every component you got to make sure that it gets redistributed correctly.
Yeah, so if you don't, that's where you can run the risk
That's right.
of damaging yourself.
That's right. So this is why you start working with low loads and you move on to high loads as the body gets stronger and the new nervous system gets more used to maintaining the right coordination.
So this is also the value that you're getting personally out of the web.
Yeah.
Conditioning the system.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And the thing is, the problem is that this is my experience, right? Adam likes working with lower weights because he has very strong discernment in his mind. So he can discern parts of his body that I can't. So I use a load to load it so I can actually feel it.
Yes, yes.
So I use resistance
So this is
as,
high contrast.
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
So,
That's what we work with all the time, like contrasting.
Yeah, trying to do it as right as we can,
Yeah.
and then doing it massively wrong
Yeah.
to get that contrast again
Yeah.
to even taper it
That's
again.
right.
Kind of deepening reference point.
That's right, yeah. So because the greater the contrast is easier for the mind to recognize, right?
Yeah.
If it is too close in range, the mind just ignores it, like they match up to the same thing.
Now, what about when apparently putting sung or putting relaxation into that? Just another mental component.
So what we are doing here is swimming, right? That's what's happening. Because see, in my body, right? We are not using the word relaxation, but see if you put your force on my arm, right? So if you feel my arm, just feel my arm here. So now, this is taking the weight, so this is quite tense, right? But now if I experience it in the space around me, see, it releases to a very large extent because now my whole body is taking it, right?
Yeah.
And so I am actually relaxing. But sung is not just relaxation.
So an exercise to work on that aspect is what?
It's basically experiencing it in the space around you.
So when I'm putting pressure here,
Yeah.
and this is tense, that's taking all the load of this.
That's right, yeah.
When you relax this, you're allowing
If you feel here, right? You press really hard under here, right? See, now this is just localized, right? But now if I experience it in the space around, see how this becomes like you're elastically stretching here as well, instead of just here. So now I can just change here, and you go, because it's distributed across, right?
It's a different understanding of the body.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally, because most people say relax, but it's not enough, right? So when I do this, right, if I relax, it'll just drop, right? Because it won't hold it, relax, it must have gone, right? So I have to release into something, right? So I'm releasing into the perception of your force acting on the space around me. So that changes my body and distributes it across, right?
Yeah. So when you say as well, focus on the space around you.
Yeah. Not focus on it, but experience your force operating on the space around you.
So is that like it's letting go of like almost like a mental trick, so you're not
It is a mental trick.
fixating on the part that you think you should be doing.
Yeah.
But letting go of that.
Yeah. And letting the body figure out how you can maintain this shape while experiencing everything around you.
Where this is the system when someone
Yeah.
grabs you tight,
Yeah.
and if I try and
Yeah.
move it, but if I just go,
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're using the mind
Yeah.
rather than going, oh, I need to,
That's
to
it.
move.
Now do the same thing, but feel Newton's third law, right? Any resistance I feel from you, feel it in the space around you. Yeah. See how it's affecting my balance? At the same time, so here, when you're just moving like before, it feels similar, right? So here my balance is fine. It's harder to keep you in place, but my balance is fine, right? But now if you experience it in the space around you, and do the step, that fucks up on the balance. That's it.
Yeah, it's different. Here it feels like you're moving with this.
Yeah.
When you let go of that, it feels like you're moving with this.
Yeah. So here I feel like I'm doing, even though I'm moving, even I feel.
Yeah, that's
Because
it.
I can even feel, like not just here, but even when you try to leave the elbow, you feel that.
And when I'm doing that, it feels like the other side
Yeah,
almost
that's it.
connects
That's it.
and does that.
That's it. Because unconsciously his body is doing it. Because his body can't figure out where it's coming from. So he tries to hedge his bets by trying to engage everything a little bit.
Yeah, so if you're living with this, my brain is naturally knows how to resist that.
Yeah.
But when you move your whole body, my brain doesn't know how to comprehend how to respond
But
appropriately.
the weird thing is it doesn't feel like I'm moving in my body, it sort of feels like I'm doing something,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
something different compared to,
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
like, even if I relax here,
Yeah.
my space I can still sort of
Yeah,
feel,
yeah.
then I'm I'm saying doing something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's affection, yeah.
I can kind of articulate what I'm doing wrong, but I can't articulate what I'm right.
But obviously that's something you guys need to find, right? So.
Back to forward. was faster sitting down in the back, like releasing the back.
Yeah, so-
what happens if I go forward? So I'm pushing against you.
So what I'm talking about is like this connected tissue in your body called muscle tendon towns, like called myofascial meridians. So they're not one-to-one. They're not a one-to-one mapping with the Western system to the Chinese system, but there's enough mapping in there. So what you're doing is that this like here. Yeah. So this when you put force, right? I'm resting the three front line. I'm navigating front line. So this is the three front line, right? Now if I switch from this to the back line, this is also to the back line and that's to the left line. Yeah. But you want to use them both, so here. Yeah.
It's not divided in the top and size of his body.
What about
In a
I
different way.
push forward, so I change the dynamics.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter, right? Because it's elasticated, it's like a rubber band, right? No matter where you pull in the rubber band, I don't have to change the rubber band, right? Because it naturally propagates and adjusts, right? So I don't have cognitive burden of changing, right? I'm just maintaining elasticated.
Yeah.
If I rest to the superficial back line as well.
Yeah.
So that's the bare minimum. Like,
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to feel the difference between using the like dropping the weight down.
Right. No, it's not dropping the weight down at all. Like you say, when I rest to the back line, you have to look at a diagram to get a better feel for it, right?
Yeah.
Here. If you put my hands in other way.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing this, right?
Oh no, I mean when I do it, like
I'm
as a
resting on the
pusher.
superficial back line level, see?
Yeah.
That's the resting, right? That's the superficial back line elasticated, right?
Yeah.
So now if you sink down, right? Now normally, if you're here like in this way, right? If you sink down, so you can shunt, right? I'm like going over top of you, right?
Yeah.
Now feel that, let's say you start here, right?
Yeah.
And like drop down, see how I'm like, if I don't change, I'm like going over top of you, right?
Yeah.
But now, if I'm resting on this deep front line here, and if you go down, it makes no difference.
Yeah.
Because it's like a rubber band, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have to change anything, I'm just maintaining elasticated throughout the whole range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter from like me being the pusher, you're reacting. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I'm only maintaining the elastification of it.
Okay.
And unconsciously my brain will figure out how to maintain it, right?
Yeah.
I don't have the cognitive burden of, because the cognitive burden of detecting, like, see, I don't know what's happening. This is the tricky part, right? So at any given point in time, I don't know what's happening in your body, right?
Yeah.
I can only know what's happening in your body through speculation based on what I feel in my body when you apply force.
Okay.
So when you apply force to me, right, I'm using my internal reference model of movement, the way I move, and I'm speculating that's what he must be doing, and then I'm attributing those forces to you.
Okay.
Right? So it's a cognitively slow process, and there's a lot of it's at the end of the day speculation, right?
Yeah.
So what I do is I don't engage in that at all. I simply make an elastication of my body. I'm not concerned at all of what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
My brain may still label things, right? Fair enough, because that's what the prefrontal cortex does, right? It'll label things, but it is not relevant to what I'm doing. It's not essential to what I'm doing. I'm not responding to what I speculate. I'm just maintaining my internal conditions.
Yeah, so the labeling is something that comes after the experience.
That's right. So the labeling is a luxury that I can use or not use, right? But my response is not based on that labeling process. My response is internally maintain the conditions that I know works.
So this is what they mean by like listening to your body.
That's right. So that's what they mean by going inwards rather than going outward. Yeah?
So that's taken that level of, when we first met, you talked about that internal condition.
Yeah.
And I think I was taking that as a literal condition itself.
Right.
Realizing now that I create that condition with the various forces in my
Yeah.
body, adapting to them,
Yeah.
and still allowing that same.
So the thing is, the trick is this. The trick is not, doesn't matter what forces are coming. Your mind is still maintaining that feeling of the condition, right? Yeah. So the unconsciously, your mind unconsciously figures out what it needs to do to maintain that perception. So that is what it means to release, right? You let go of the mind, the idea that you're responding to it, and you simply maintain the condition.
So don't think respond.
Yeah.
And so if you're grabbing on my
Yeah.
arms,
Yeah.
I don't think you're holding on to it.
That's
Just
right.
go straight.
Just feel the right way. Just go to the right feeling. That's it. You got enough.
And then once again from here, it's just.
So you don't come out of it, right? So you want, okay, this is the thing with movement, right? You want to go into that condition deeper and observe the movement happen. Like yeah, that's one.
That's
So
that's the weird thing because it doesn't. It feels like I need to do something from that.
yes, that's right. So that's the thing. You never do anything in internalize. You set the expectation and you watch it happen.
So I get that.
So go deeper into it. You set expectation in mind, and you
I
have that.
feel like I've got that spot and you brought up the take away. And now I just
Go deeper into it, and you can accept expectation. Your body will do what it needs you do to make it happen.
that's like that.
So yeah, that's right. It just transforms really quick, right? So it's shifting from doing to observing what's happening.
You almost become a fascinator.
Yeah. I mean, you are active only in terms of your expectation. You're not active in terms of action.
Yeah.
So Joey, do that the same thing. Get Joey to push on your elbows like I did.
So here, right? So experience this in the space around you as we discussed with that. Okay, so that feels comfortable, right? Now, if you're trying to do something now, see how you're losing it? So it's reducing, right? So now what you want to do is to set an expectation of whatever outcome you want to happen and go deeper into the feeling that you're cultivating. That's it. Nice.
Yeah, and it's like the arms just sort of move a little bit when you.
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny that I've got so this
Yeah.
when I'm getting my sessions with you, you're like, oh, that one works. I'm like, barely felt it.
Yeah.
Same thing here.
Yeah.
It's like I can just enough awareness.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're doing anything.
That's exactly right.
That's the bit that
If
was
it
sort
feels
of
like you're doing something, it's wrong.
yeah.
That's the big part.
Yeah, and then you made it happen.
Away from that.
Yeah.
And again, it just goes to show how deeply we embedded we are psychologically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So we'll get you to feel that as
So here, right? So when I'm putting force here, first experience it completely in the space around you and not anywhere in your body. Right? Deeper. Feel it. Coming nowhere in the body. See how it's feeling in the lower back of yours? So just let go and feel it in the space around you. That's it. And now set your expectation to something and then go deep into the feeling. Yeah, that's it. You got it. There we go. Nice. Yeah, that's it. Yep.
so eventually all this is just happening quicker
Yeah.
and with less conscious effort.
Quicker, more comprehensively, with less cognitive burden.
So it'd be just like kind of picking up a guitar and playing.
Sorry?
Be almost like picking up a guitar and playing.
Yeah. Like because in the beginning you have to think about all the things, right? And then when you get good at it, you just basically, depending on the mood, something comes out. Right? Yeah. Exactly. So here, right? So now this goes on you. Just feel it in the space around you, and let my touch the top of your arch come against you. Yeah. Right? Now see, you are happy here, right? Now have an expectation. Don't push. Don't do anything. Just run. So you, this tension in your lower back must let go so that you feel my touch on the space around you. Evenly dispersed, that's it. Evenly dispersed in the space around you. See, now I'm on the edge, right? Now this is where I'm approved that I'm on the edge, right? My arm is simply resting. Now, you set an expectation and you keep doing the same thing, deeper. Yeah, that's it. Nice. Yeah. The more you do it, like, so it's solo practice.
just think that's release.
So it's solo practice, like you do it, like say I want to move my arm here, right? So rather than doing it like this, right? I go into the state where my weight, feeling of my weight is this personal space around me, and then I go deeper into it and watch my arm move. So that's how you become more fluent at it. Solo practice. You first do it in the air and then you do it with the distance. So this first, experience it in the space around you, and at the same time, feel my touch lifting with the top of your arm. That's it. So now here you have it, right? Now keep doing certain expectations. Keep doing like that.
So this is where you're talking about two different perceptions. So you think about the top of your arc and foot, and also over there where you want to go.
So three things, technically three things too,
So
right?
that bit where I'm feeling.
And like,
So at the moment, there's pressure in the pressure onto the release.
That's it.
You're releasing the stress.
So now I'm feeling sort of that.
Yeah, the feeling is
I'm feeling more in the back.
no, feel it is ideal if you feel it even in the yeah, that's it. See your own part, right? Now do try to do stuff. The expectation of do take me deeper into the feeling. Yeah.
It's like trying to work out what you're doing.
That's the thing. If you feel like you're doing something is wrong. That's it. But at the same time, feel my touch on the top of the arch. That's it. That's the right process. So keep going deeper. Okay, so when you get about here, right, you're comfortable, right? Now, within this comfort, set the expectation to what you want to happen and go deeper into the process. Feeling it, okay.
So remember, there's not two phases in this. Like we've sort of been doing release, then expand. Well, this is just
this.
yeah. This just seems to be just keep doing, and then that ends up with the results at the end.
Yeah, yeah. So if I just slow it really down, right? So say you push me on here, right? So it's not like I'm happy here and then I'm pushing here, right? So I'm just happy here and I'm going deep into that happiness. Right? So, so here, so I come here, like he's pushing me like I'm uncomfortable, right? So I'm going into that thing. I'm like, I'm happy here now, right? But now I'm not trying to do stuff from here, right? Yeah. I'm going deeper into that happiness. Right. Yeah. So it's
And then what is the next thing that's happening on the higher levels where we're watching Adam, for example, almost minimal movement against you,
yeah, so
affecting.
Here, so when you're here, right? If I do it deeper, right? Like yeah, and back to here, right? And then I'm going to go like here, right? Right? It's like so yeah.
Try another one.
Yeah. Correct. Oh, sorry. Shit. Sorry.
This time I have to really start practicing what you can eat. Recover from falling. Start rolling around. Yeah, you gotta feel that.
So, okay, feel my body, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, right? So here I'm going to a happy place, right? And I'm letting it circulate through the body in a big way for it to come out, right? But instead of doing that, now what I'm doing is I'm releasing deeper. Releasing deeper. When I'm here, it's a very subtle change.
It's almost like you build a spring up even tighter.
Tighter, that's exactly.
Winding down and then bringing it
That's
back
exactly bringing it tighter. Right? So here, like here, right? I'm letting the spring stretch, and then it does its thing, right? So I'm letting the spring stretch as you do it, right? So now I'm pre-stretching it, right? Now it's pre-stretch, right?
Oh, yeah. So that's going straight into that condition.
Yeah, that's it. So
Feel that.
So
when
it's-
you go straight into that with the arm.
So here, when you're coming here, right? So I'm already here. Right? So here. So you see me taking the long part, right? Yeah. One, stretching, then stretch, coming. But here, when I'm already there, there's nothing to build up because I'm already there. So there's very little to.
Okay.
Like, so if you look at my structure like here, right? So if I'm like stretching it like I'll vary it, right? I'm taking your first in and letting it come out of the same time like this, right? Right? Whereas if I pre-stretch, and zoom deeper, this is where I am, right? So anything you touch will come out like that. Because everything is touch.
And that's the same when they get that when people can touch you from any direction and you're literally bouncing from.
That's it. So if you touch me here, right? Can you give me a lot of force from the front?
Yep.
Yeah. So touch me here, right? So you see, it's not me pushing here, right? So I'm elasticating. right? I'm letting it build up so you can feel it, right? So it's not me pushing it. You feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Feel the current,
You can
because
properly
it's quite
strengthen that.
That's it.
Yeah.
So feel
feel the back.
Can I borrow your
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Press into this side here, right? So I'm here, right? Now I'm just using one particular channel, right? So to illustrate it, right? So I'm letting you engage. Let's see how it's stretching my body.
Yeah.
Now for at this point, right? If I let go and open the channel. Sorry.
Wow, I felt that. That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
So, some drills that we should practice between us.
So what you should practice is first put force. And like
Is there any particular way that we should be doing it? I see
Every single
Rasmus
possible
does
way.
a lot of this, does this.
every single possible way.
So even like there's that one where I'm pressing
Yeah,
out
that's it.
underneath.
So whatever you gather from point, like here, like one mark was right here, right? You're doing it from press. Because the reason why it works is if you do this, and now you got me, right? But if I spread it in space around me, I got you. Right? So here, right? So what mark does is that he has it.
Oh, yeah.
So you're getting underneath and trying to lift him up.
Yeah.
So what he does is that he has it go here, and like he does it here, and then spirals so that he catches that line, right? That's what he does. That, right? So if you do the same to me, right? Yeah, something like that. An ordinary person will be stuck like this, right? But when you expand the space around you, now you're the one in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. So,
I felt that because you
Yeah.
went back and
That's it.
it's a way it's a way
So
for
remember
body.
just putting pressure on,
Yeah.
getting
so it's not so much the pressure. What he's doing is that he's putting a little of pressure so you can stiff that, and then you turn it in and you like lock over here.
Oh, man.
and then for me I'd be trying to
No, don't put it down. It's like disperse it in the space around it. Yeah, that's what fucks me up. Nice. Yeah.
that's that was just like almost a thought
That's right.
of like
Yeah, it just opens us out of space for one minute. It's going to lift you up, create that tension, and then turn the sinew so I can catch it. Now you just basically feel it. Yeah, that's okay. Feel it in space around me. That's it. That's what I try. Keep going. Yeah. That's what's me up. That's it. Yeah, don't get caught in the physical thing, right? Physically what happens is not important. So you're lifting him up to create a bit of tension, and then slightly twisting it to get it there. Yeah. That's it. And now you can play. There you go. That's it.
Yeah. So that's that pulling in
Yeah.
and creating the
very-
it's springing into it.
back in this
Yeah. So here.
I've been
Yeah. So you've been there, right? So
so
here.
if I'm standing
Yeah.
now, I want to get to
So you need to feel the C7 to this, right? Respond to that feeling. That's it. That feeling, right? And then relax the jaw. Yeah. See how your hips are expanding? That's it. So that's where you want to be at this stage. See how the
and
elasticity.
it doesn't matter if this feels too
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So here, right? So you feel this, right? You do what you did before, like wrong one, right? Do the wrong one. So here, see, there's no elasticity at all in your body, right?
Yeah.
It's rigid. Now, once you do the right way,
Yeah, it works straight away.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
See? It's like a bouncing ball.
Yeah, so you're pulling your shoulders into each other.
Can you find those spots so you can show me later? Just film those spots where he's touching.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter where I'm touching, but what I'm doing,
Just so it gives you that visual.
yeah, what I'm doing is that I'm the C7 here, right? This area to the C of Chi, which is like under his belly button around here.
Yeah.
Right? Feel that they're physically connected and elastically pulling towards each other. That's it. See, that alone is enough, but now release, let that process release inside of your jaw, inside of that area. Yeah, see now his hips are expanding and becoming more rounded. See, now he's like a balloon, see, balloon man.
Yeah, I can feel it through his hand. Yeah.
So that's the rebounding force,
That's,
right?
that's actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
Do that again.
Yeah.
And if I go push down,
Yeah, see, it's not the same. Now release jaw. See how the hips are expanding, now
Oh,
you're a
I
balloon
can
man.
feel
See?
it even just on
See?
the side.
wow, that's a big contrast. You
Yeah,
can
you
feel
go back
that
to
too.
the front,
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah? So connect the two together, right? So pull your knees up, right? Don't bend them.
It feels like when you
Let
relax the
them just stretch
jaw,
down, okay?
double heaviness comes
So
in
now
the
connect
groin.
this.
Think about how much tension. Again, tension means
That's it. So you see bit of elasticity, right?
distribution of
Now
weight.
let that pulling process release inside your jaw. Yeah, see how your hips are opening up?
Yeah.
See? Now you've got the
Yes.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So C7. Yeah. Feel like they're elastically connected, pulling to each other and then rest everything onto it. So you have that zero elasticity here, right? And then let that process release inside your jaw and the tongue. That's it. And the hips expand. Like that. Here we go.
Can you feel the difference?
Yeah.
And then now clench your jaw again and get Joey to do it.
So when you're in that state, whatever force that comes to you will bounce out.
Yeah.
Right?
So give him a push now with his jaw clenched.
Yeah. Then to join this kind of the two lines. Yeah. See, there's very little elasticity. It's there, but it's little, right? Now release it up. See how your hips are expanding? That's it. Right? That's it. That's
That's a bit mind blowing, isn't it?
it's significant, right?
It's all mind blowing.